So my question for you is, who does Google say you are? I mean, you are who you are. You're an amazing person with an incredible heart, but the fact is you may not even be on planet Earth as far as Google is concerned. Now, today, we're going to roll up our sleeves. We're going to talk about what's working now and what's working next online. EdTalks Live is next. Hey, welcome to the show. My name is Ed Rush, five-time #1 best-selling author, your host for the most positive place on the planet for insanely implementable ideas. So I did a little exercise about a week ago. I actually went onto Google and I found the names of a whole bunch of my college friends and a whole bunch of my high school friends. And I just started typing them into Google. Now, if you're like me, you've lost track with pretty much most of the people who were your friends in high school and college, except for like this small little group of people. And I went online and I saw there were some people who had like hundreds of pages of notoriety. There was a guy that I went to college with who's the president, one of the biggest investment firms in the world. He's actually part owner of the Los Angeles Dodgers. So, I mean, he's all over the place, but there's other people. There's nothing about them at all. And today, what we're going to talk about is I'm going to bring in my man, Mr. X, my buddy, who I'll introduce in just a second, okay? I'm going to give him a name, actually. And we're going to talk about like what's actually working now. Now, for a little bit of background, this is the guy that I go to get my advice, okay? So this isn't like theory or fluff. This is stuff that's actually working now, because what's important is if you're out there doing deals or selling books or sharing your message, what happens when people type in your name? You see, most of the people that I work with, when I initially work with them, the presence that's sitting there online is actually detrimental or deleterious to them making the kind of money they want, having the kind of impact that they want, and changing the world. So do me a favor, jump in on the right-hand side on chat. Tell me who you are, where you're from, what you do. I'd love to just say hello to some of our long-time friends and fans. And by the way, we are on episode 68 of EdTalks Live. Do not miss, by the way. So we air Tuesday and Thursday, 10 o'clock Pacific, 1 o'clock Eastern. Today is what's working now in online marketing as of like right now. This Thursday, I'm interviewing one of my longtime coaching members, Marie Carmen Pizarro, to talk about how to be a powerful influencer. Marie Carmen actually left the corporate world about 5 years ago, created her own entrepreneurial business. The very first deal she did out of the starting gates as an entrepreneur was a $425,000 deal. And she did one more right after that. I'm going to tell that story on Thursday. But before we get cranking with my Mr. X, I want to say hello to some of our friends in chat. What's up, Barry? Good to see you. Welcome back to the show. Diana says, sunshine and flowers to brighten your day. Hello, everyone. Wendell Buggs from Houston, Texas. What's up, my man? Good to see you. Jim Butts as well. Hey, Robert. Thank you for your email yesterday. Howdy, y'all, from Texas. Sally, what's going on? Sally, who said she misses the daily show, but you know, Tuesdays and Thursdays, we got it going on. Sally says she agrees on the t-shirt that says, be careful when you follow the masses. Sometimes the M is silent. You read into that, whatever you want to read into it. All right. Hey, Gwendolyn Wilson, welcome to the show. Good to see you as well. She's from Texas as well. Hey, Vicky German. I haven't seen you for a while. Thank you very much. Actually, I saw you yesterday. I was watching Marquetta and Ricky's show, actually. Good to see you as well. What's up, Charles? Good to see you as well. Constance, hello from Memphis and Nashville. All right, let's get cranking on today's show. Now, the guy that I'm going to introduce to you, the guy that I am calling Mr. X. Mr. X is my go-to internet marketing guy. You know, those people that you have who you just call about something. You know, you have somebody who's like super good at health and fitness and dieting, and you want to get some advice. You're like, what do you think about this vitamin C brand? Or, you know, you've got somebody that's particularly good at relationships. You maybe have a little challenge with one of the people that you know, and you're like, what do you think I should do about this? Well, listen, this is my guy that I go to when I have questions about online marketing. Look, we've spent hours, I mean, literally hours. In fact, he is partially responsible for me doing this show right here. So some of you have met my guests. I'm going to say hello to 4 more people really quickly, and then we're going to get cranking. So hello, Celie. Welcome to the show. Hey, Aisha. Good to see you as well. And Robert, but wisely follow the missus. Apparently, yes, Texas is no joke, man. I think that's just because such great people in Texas like attracts like. All right. So if you just joined us, and I know a whole bunch of you just did, I sent an email out to my list about this event. If you just joined us, this is what's working now online in online marketing as of right now. And so let's just do this. I'm going to bring on my man, Mr. X. Some of you know him as the amazing Ricky Breslin. Was that okay enough build up to the mastery of? I'm going to do like a little more of an intro, but welcome, dude. It's good to have you on the show. Hey, I love you and I like you.
I like you too, Ed.
So not only is Ricky Breslin a great internet marketer with an incredible brand, which we're going to talk about a little bit, but he's also a pretty good golfer. So he and I went and played golf at, I think it was called Southern Highlands Country Club, right? Is that what the name of it?
Yeah.
Which is one of the most exclusive country clubs in Nevada. It's beautiful. It's in the middle of the desert. I think they said they spend $500,000 a year on water just to water the grass. It's beyond beautiful. And Ricky's like, the whole week he's like, I haven't played golf for 3 years and played golf for 3 years. And I honestly, if you've ever seen somebody who hasn't played golf for 3 years, they're awful. So I was like, this is going to be an easy day to beat this guy. He hasn't played. And then he went out and shot like an 85 or something like that. So anyway, he sandbagged his way. I think we tied. I think we evened up.
Yeah, we really did. Yeah.
But that's because you slowed down towards the last few holes. So, dude, what's up, man? Welcome to the show. Thanks for coming.
I appreciate it, man. Congrats on the show count. Most people can't do more than like 4 things.
We're closing in on 100. It'll be just another couple months until we hit that. So
how are you liking it after all these shows? Like, what's your thoughts? What have you learned so far?
Yeah, it's interesting. Thank you for interviewing me on this show where I'm interviewing.
I'm always trying to get in from. I'm like,
so I actually. I'm going to answer this question. I'm not making fun of you. I had a guest on who asked me like 2 series of questions. This is a long time ago. Some of you can go find this that I didn't know. And I'm like, you're not supposed to ask me questions on the anyway. So it's been awesome. I know you guys did. I know you guys did your own show as well. This format, I think, is the single best format online for community building and interaction. I've been totally thrilled. I mean, right now, we've got like around 40 people in chat right now. And I mean, just look at the comments, right? So there's Rob, who both you and I have known for years. There's Gwendolyn, North Carolina is in the house. David Zetz, who's a client of mine. Todd Durkin, who I just had interviewed. Matthew Thomas, who's from Texas. I mean, like you don't get, I think the idea of doing this sort of like, hey, Marquetta, Marquetta Breslin and Ricky and Michael Fortin, who
the whole family's here.
Shell, who we both know as well. Anyway, I think this format is, like I said, for community building and interaction. I think there's nothing like it. I have not seen any of the shows go viral after the show, and what I realized is there's 2 formats on YouTube that work. There's a live format, which we're doing right now, which primarily is ideal for live attendees. Then there is a video format, which is great for people who are going to watch stuff afterwards. So usually what I do is I'll take little clips of the show, pump it back out on the social media platforms that are like 5 minutes long, and those seem to work really, really well. Yeah, so Ricky's Mr. X. So Sandra, the thing was, so I've talked about Ricky behind the scenes so often that I thought it would be fun to sort of pitch him as this like secret behind the scenes guru. And the truth is, he is. So up until like March of this year, nobody really ever saw Ricky. So Marquetta and Ricky run this business, and they would do these huge events, and Ricky would be at home like working online, So he was always sort of behind the scenes guy and always the behind the camera guy. But actually, just this March when they started doing their own online show, he came out and started on camera, and I was like, dude, this is good for you, man. You're really good at this, and you are. And now I'm going to shut up and I'm going to let you talk. So let's start talking about some of the internet stuff. And by the way, for those of you just joined us, and the numbers just keep climbing, by the way, for those of you just joined us, jump into chat, tell us who you are, where you're from, what you do. This is what's working now in online marketing. My name's Ed Rush. I'm here. Let me change this. I'm here with my man, Ricky Breslin, Mr. X. And we're going to talk about what's working. And this is my go-to guy for who I ask all my questions to for what's working online. So, dude, let's rock it, man. What do you got for me? Let's just start with what you're seeing has changed and what you guys are doing on your side of the business when it comes to online stuff.
All right, let me give a touch of history so they have a frame of where I'm coming from. So Marquetta's on here, so that's my wife. Excuse me. And we met in the Air Force way back in the day, got married. We had our 17th wedding anniversary a few weeks ago. And we've got a 15 and a 16-year-old. So I've been behind the scenes for all these years. And Marquetta dragged me out at the beginning of the year and was like, hey, let's talk about all this craziness we've been through and we've done. I said, no, let's do it. So I don't have social media. I have nothing. I'm literally behind the scenes working and with different companies and doing what I do. So yeah, it's interesting how 2020 and it all came to light, and here we are. And I'm like on a live, even talking, because I'm normally just doing and managing. So it's an interesting world. But no, let's get into it today. So
how much easier do you think? So for a little background, I started marketing my own stuff back in 2008, but the truth is I didn't really start doing it well until about 2012, 2013. Up until then, I was actually marketing and promoting two other thought leaders' stuff. I was writing all their stuff, doing all the promotional copy, but I was the behind the scenes guy. And the truth is I was so much better at writing stuff for someone else than I was for myself. So for you, how much easier is it for you to do stuff for somebody other than kind of coming out and being your own thing?
Yeah, I really love promoting other people. It comes very natural to me. It's I'm naturally interested, inquisitive. So I mean, I can talk to people for hours and dig everything out of them and then create a brand I'm very good at that. I can really suck it all out, develop things, create brands around it, pricing and I do all that really in my sleep. It's one of my best talents, actually. And I love doing it for other people. For myself, it's not that interesting for myself.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why, but it isn't. But I've been doing it for Marquetta for 17 years, and I'm going to probably do it for another 50.
Yeah.
Because that's how much I enjoy it. And it's more importantly, the internet is so ever changing, and you have to adapt. I think over the 17 years, we've had to pivot at the big pivot.
Yeah.
We've had to pivot probably 3 times really drastically to stay relevant, to be true to ourselves, et cetera. So you've got to really be open to making a pivot. And anybody successful online, you've got Michelle Fortin on here. He's like a brother to us, great guy. He's been with me on this journey for half the time. He'll tell you too. I mean, I've never seen anybody successful or last long who's not able to make a pivot and do some things differently online. But the good thing about that is that's just tactically.
Yeah.
You're always yourself. So that's what I love about personal branding is people get to be themselves. And once they come out of their shell and they're finding their groove, it's kind of easy to market it, to be honest with you.
So, by the way, I have to say hello. Our chat all of a sudden exploded. If you're not in chat, jump in and say hello. Just some really incredible comments. Chris Gordon jumped in and said, "What's up? Good to see you as well." Hey, Esther.
Chris, Esther.
Rob. So, Rob, by the way, some of you know Rob was at Big Pivot, one of the most gifted stylists I've known.
Yes.
Rob helped me make my head look nice before my event, which is not that easy to do. And just a good guy, really good guy. And glad to have you here, buddy. Vicky, now we're all talking about you. Hey, Harish, good to see you as well. And hey, Sherry, hello. And just some great interaction. Anyway, if you just joined us, which it looks like, wow, we just had a whole bunch of folks just join us onto the show. My name is Ed Rush. I'm here with Mr. X, Ricky Breslin. We're talking about what's working now in online marketing. We're talking a little bit about sort of, promoting and marketing somebody else. I went back, by the way, I pulled some stuff off of a website from Wayback Machine. If you're watching this and you're not, Wayback Machine basically takes an archive of the entire internet. Yeah. So I went back, dude, and looked at some of my promotions back in like 2009, 2000. I mean, some of the stuff we were doing back then is some of the most basic stuff.
Yeah.
It's crazy because the principles behind all that, the pages may look a little different and the graphics may be a little nicer, but the principles are like the same, give somebody something of value in exchange for something of greater, or somebody gives you something of value in exchange for something of greater value. I mean, the principles are the same. It's just all little strategies behind the scenes that are changing.
Yeah. I think what made it click for me when I figured out that what selling really was, what an exchange of value for $1 was all these years back. And when I realized, and I was talking to my really good friend, Jason Leister, on the phone, and we would sit there like back in the day. We still do it today, and not as much, but we would just talk for hours like little teenagers. And it hit me so hard. It was like on the internet, when you're selling something, a service, a product, yourself, it doesn't matter. When you're selling anything, and you're not getting people, but when you're putting your information out, the key is, this is what I found to be true, is that people sell themselves on you. So when you stop shoving at a deep level, because a lot of people are screaming and shoving, and when you scream and shove, it creates this really awkward situation. But when you put out information from the heart, and you hear that a lot, right, Ed? Put out information, da 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 da. But it actually really matters when you're putting out information that you love, that they love, and you're doing it consistently. People sell themselves on you, so there is no quote unquote closing. I kind of hate that word.
Yeah,
I'm closing someone. It seems like a psychological tactic. I haven't closed anybody in 17 years. Anybody. And neither has Marquetta. We explain what we do, but by that time, people are already so far down in the rabbit hole / process that it's very simple and it's respectful and it's easy. That's why we've never burned out. I've seen a lot of people in this industry burn out, Ed, and they're burning out because the amount of push they're doing.
Oh man. So here's a great comment from Michelle. Says difference between an educator and advisor and a carnival barker. I actually
that's why I love Michelle. Now I give money every month to Michelle because he is an amazing consultant and somebody that helps me and Marquetta, but he gets it. He understands the value of content, the value of the placement of the content, because just creating it in 2020 isn't enough. It's the placement of the content so it's discoverable from the right people so they can sell themselves on you. People don't understand that. The reason people do not like that statement is because they can't control the time of purchase. And if you can let go the automatic conversion and the 1942 psychology of direct mail, and you have to understand that attribution and the way the internet works doesn't work in your favor per se as the content creator. It works in their favor. They will buy when they want to buy and they're comfortable enough to buy. But are you doing enough and putting out enough content for them to make that decision easily? Generally, that answer is no, because nobody's consistent with their content.
I mean, almost always the answer is no. And I'll just tell you from experience, as a marketer, you send an email out, you just figure everybody's going to read it. You put something on Facebook, and you're like, hey, I've got here's a new product, and you just figure, well, I've got 180,000 people on Facebook. They might as well all see it. Well, the truth is, you send an email out, someone may see it, but they might scroll through it. They might be busy that day. They may be like in the waiting room someplace at a hospital, like waiting for their kid to get a cast on their arm. They scroll through your email and that's basically it. So the idea of just sort of sending one thing out. But the other thing is, and you blew my mind, dude. We were talking back in February and you said something in passing, and it was in passing. You said, look, organic is dead. And I'm like, whoa, that was one of the most profound things that I had actually heard. And it took me a few months to really like grab a hold of what that actually meant. So this is really important as you are trying to get your content, your ideas, your website, your brand, your products, your services, your message out into the world. What Ricky told me back in February was fundamentally huge for this. And so talk about what you mean by that.
Well, organically. So this is, let's combine the words organic and evergreen. So evergreen meaning I'm going to create something today that's still relevant in 2078, right? It's just an evergreen, true, factual-ish piece of content. Now, as far as organic is dead, people put out content every day. Unfortunately, the reason like 99% of the people are unsuccessful with converting anything online or making a living online is because they actually believe that organic, they're so proud of themselves that they actually created a piece of content. And when they put it out there into the world, that it's going to just like spread, I guess. Now in 2002 to 5, that was more real. Yeah. But you understand, and really up to 2007 and 8, pretty real, and then kind of real till 2010. And about 2011, 2012, it pretty much died because once the social media machines and PhDs and AI people get a hold of the algorithms and figure it all out, they're going to charge you to put your content in front of people. And the quicker you can come to acceptance on that, the quicker you can create organic content, but also secondary, have a paid strategy behind it, which we'll just call amplification.
Yeah.
If you do not amplify your content, in my opinion, it's dead. I haven't seen anybody be successful without some sort of amplification strategy behind their content. So here's the key. Do we do organic content? Absolutely.
That's what we're doing right now.
We're doing it right this minute.
Yeah.
Me and Marquetta do it every day for 17 years. That's great. We do it, but I don't think I never in my mind believe or think that that's going to be the holy grail, or that's going to be the piece, because you never know what's going to hit. The number one way to know a scammer or somebody who is just trying to sell something or has bad intentions is if they promise you can go viral. I've actually seen people do that. I'm going to teach you how to go viral. Ed, let me just share a quick story. On our YouTube channel, and you shared this on your show, it's interesting. We don't have 1 million subscribers or nothing. I think we have 60 or 70,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah.
We made $2,000 last month. I think $1,600 was from one video.
That's right.
That YouTube loves, that I thought was the most average piece of content ever. But it became helpful. Google loved it. It keeps eyeballs on Google longer, etc. So if Google loves something, they will carry it forward. But do you know what the other interesting stat is? Is that there is another 400 or 500 videos on the channel that make 4 cents.
Yeah.
But the key is we never stopped at video 238. That's why you have to have a vision. You have to love what you do. You've got to care about what you do, because you've got to commit to never stop making content. I am a firm believer in that. You've got to make content, in my opinion, if you can, daily. If you can't do daily, 5 days. If you can't do 5 days, do 3. Do something to where you are organically putting out content. But, and I'll end on this, Ed, and you can turn the corner, have a paid strategy, even if it's $5 or $10 a day. If you're a local business or a flower shop or a local gym and you're a CrossFit just getting started or whatever, I've done this in multiple industries. If you can commit to a daily budget, you can do a lot of damage on a local level. You'd be amazed at how many people start from nothing and make 100, 200, 300 grand a year with a simple $20 a day strategy, $10 a day strategy.
I want to anchor in on that. There's 2 things you said right there that I want to talk about in depth. I do want to say hello to some of you who just joined us in chat. By the way, if you just joined us, we had about 20 new people just join on the show while we were talking. This is What's Working Now Online Marketing, Summer 2020. This is Ed Rush with my guest, Mr. X, man, Ricky Breslin. Jump in the chat, tell us who you are, where you're from, what you do. By the way, right down here on your right-hand side on the bottom, there's a subscribe button. I was never asked to do this, and I always forget, and I always wish that I hadn't. Do me a favor, click that button. And hit the subscribe button right next to it. There's a little bell icon. Click that as well. That'll tell you when we have a show. I air a show Tuesday and Thursday, just twice a week, 10 o'clock Pacific. And it's always great stuff when it comes to marketing. I want to say hello. Marquetta, by the way, she said some of those 4-cent videos are great videos, which they are.
They're actually 10 times better than the one that's getting all the money.
It's super interesting. I want to go there because there's some interesting points about content there as well. Hey, Ted Salon, good to see you. Perdita as well. Giovanni. Hello, Francine Tone. Good to see you as well. And Francine is doing quite a bit of live video as well. Her
beautiful
Porch Lawyer series, which is pretty awesome. So, those of you just joined us, this is What's Working Now Online in Marketing. I'm Ed Rush. This is Ricky Breslin. So you said something which really I thought was important. So you mentioned this one video that got, and we showed this at the last event when Marquetta was teaching that. I mean, it's so far and away more popular than your other videos, which are actually very popular. You know, it's just that one hit the jet stream. And that was true for my book, 21 Day Miracle. My first 4 books were just okay in terms of result, not good, not great, just good. And all of a sudden one went into the jet stream. And it seems to me like it's almost unpredictable. You sometimes it's impossible to tell which one of the ones your market's going to like, which is why, first of all, if you're a content creator, your best bet is to create a lot of content and not think about it that much in terms of like, what does people really want to hear? And like, what strategy? And people sit around for weeks creating a content strategy where what you should really do is just start putting content on it. And what you're looking for is how people react. If people start liking and commenting, you're like, oh man, that all of a sudden, like your video, I think, if I remember, was on like box braids, right? A certain kind of braiding. Well, look, there was no way for you to predict that was the one. In fact, if I remember the story, you all just put that up there because it was like some old training you had that you weren't using anymore. You just put it up there and all of a sudden it totally took off. The second thing, and this is really important, what Ricky said about $5 or $10. the platforms, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, have all said publicly that they're not giving business owners a free pass anymore. What that means is if you put something on Facebook and you have 160,000 fans like I do, you post something on Facebook, 10 people might see that, for real. That's it.
That's a real stat.
100 people might see it. That's it. And if nobody reacts or interacts, Facebook's not going to give it to anybody else. But if you put $5 onto that post, Facebook is then going to show it to another 1,000 people because you put some money into it. And Facebook has basically said, you can debate the like moral ethic of this all you want. It is the way it is. Facebook has said that business owners are going to get a free pass. So a strategy you can use is to do what Ricky said, put content out there, 10 or 15 pieces of content, see what moves, see what gets attention, then put your advertising budget into the thing that gets attention. So for example, right now, there's a video that I took on YouTube from maybe 100 views about 3 weeks ago to now almost 7,000 views, but that's because it was getting reaction. So anyway, your thoughts on that?
I will tell you, you're 1,000% correct. Now, me and Marquetta.
That's the right answer, by the way. If you know how to do an interview, that's the right. Keep going.
Oh, no, you actually are correct. So I know that the most helpful thing I can do is just tell you what we do, because then you can take what you like and throw away what you don't, and that's how I do business. So what me and Marquetta do, when this video hit the jet stream, we actually put into our calendar to film 10 more of them, just like it, very highly instructional style videos. We're going to replicate it, put 10 of them out there, spend 2 weeks, do it, and we're going to see if anything else bites, because people seem to really like the 30-minute to an hour content that's step by step.
Yep.
We just know that. So like you just said, Ed, yes, you want to take advantage of that as a smart marketer and business person, but we're always pulling at both ends in this business. You're pulling at what you look at, Marco. Look at my wife.
That's my first one, by the way. So I just passed the number of people on YouTube where I could have this feature.
Oh, beautiful.
This is a sticker, right?
Yeah.
All right. So this is the first time I've ever gotten a sticker. So Marquetta sent me $19.99. It's got to be some global significance.
Basically, what that means is everybody give Ed some money.
I don't even know how to do it. How do you do this? If you're watching this show?
Yeah, there's a button right by this video on YouTube somewhere where people can just tip and say thanks. People do it for us all the time on our show. I'm like so thankful. I'm like, we're not even doing it because of that, but they give. It's like amazing.
Oh, there it is. There's a button underneath the video. Here, let me show you. Check this out. Now we just completely hijacked the
oh, no, you're good.
We turn it into a Jerry Lewis telethon. All right, so
let me see it. Where's that thing at?
I've got this show actually pulled up, so it looks like some sort of weird Russian doll thing. But if you follow me onto the bottom of the chat, dang, look at that. If you go to hold on. If you go to chat here, can you see this button that says there's a dollar sign right there?
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's
wow, Ed. And I see another gift come in. Wow.
Thank you, Ted Salon. You are amazing.
That's amazing.
I mean, like, for real, I don't know. We should start to click the dollar sign, Sandra Brooks says. Thank you, Marquetta.
Yeah, exactly. So you always feel like you really need to stop everything and say thank you. I mean, we're just so grateful. It's cool.
Hey, this is interesting. So we'll get to what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Aisha says we've been groomed to think organic content is better than paid ads. Took a class that focused on organic, and Ricky's paid ad strategies actually work better. And I think that's right, which is it's not like you're ethically wrong. People feel like, oh my gosh, you paid for your yeah. Like I paid to get in front of people because Facebook wouldn't do it without me. So anyway.
Yeah. Aisha, that is a real ego play right there. I've actually heard many people over the years brag about how they didn't get where they got from, like, I didn't need paid, as if that's
all organic, right?
It blows my mind. Look at Vivica.
I know. Thank you. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. It's so nice. And I didn't even know this thing existed.
So, Aisha, it's actually not something to brag about. When you hear somebody say that, just kind of laugh quietly, because I would rather, of course you'd rather get somewhere organically, but in general, it's not going to happen. It's 1 in a million. It's very rare to see that. So I'm coming in all guns blazing. I want to have an organic strategy. So if you can compartmentalize these two things in your mind, it'll make your whole life a lot better. Organic strategy, stuff you love, stuff you're passionate about, stuff God has given you just for you, stuff that's in your heart, stuff that's easy to create. You shouldn't be tired after you do it. That's a good sign. You should want to do it. You should be excited to wake up the next morning.
That's good.
These are good. This is organic. This is stuff that like I'm going to do whether I'm paid or not. Me and Ed, we're brothers. We're here. We're chatting. If there was 3 people on here, we would do it because we enjoy talking about this. This is very organic, clean, natural traffic. We love it. But Ed would be an absolute idiot if he did not chop some of this up, go throw some paid ads on it, see what hits, and keep playing that game. We're just playing a game over on the paid side because Ed is 1,000% right. Facebook's not going to do it. IG is probably within 12 months of not doing it. Everybody's about to get their feelings hurt, especially all the strippers, Ed, I could go on. There's going to be a lot of people with their feelings hurt in the next year because Instagram is going to follow Facebook's lead. Oh, they're the same, thing, but it's going to start being pay to play soon, and you've got to be on top of it.
Yeah, I mean, Instagram is owned by Facebook. 2016, Facebook came out January. I'll never forget this. Zuckerberg came out in January 2016 and said, we are not giving businesses a free pass anymore. And he said publicly what they had already been doing for 2 years. I was on the phone with this young couple I was coaching on Instagram, okay? And thank you, Perdita, by the way. Ricky, what's your favorite? Tell me what your favorite charity is. What do you guys like to support?
EdTalks.
Oh, come on.
We actually do give to Phase 1 Foundation.
Oh,
here.
Okay.
I'm not going to go too deep into it, but it goes direct to children with single moms, can't afford to even train or practice, gives kids an opportunity to get out of their normal zone.
All right, so here's what I'll do. Thank you for your stickers. That was amazingly nice what you're doing. I'm just gonna send a check or wire or whatever to the foundation that you like for whatever.
Phase 1 Foundation, yes, right here in Vegas.
That you should donate. I'm just saying thank you to those of you.
Wow.
I just want to pass on. I just want to pass on the blessing that you're giving. So thank you for that.
That's a blessing.
And you just got to connect me with
Mike Waters.
I just watched your interview with Mike Waters, by the way.
Yeah, he's a great guy. We're doing him. We were we work very closely together. He's doing great things. So yeah, that'd be great, Ed. That's awesome. So
anyway, thank you to those of you. The donations will go, or those will turn into donations. Thank you, Rob.
Wow, Ed, Rob, thank you, man. Perdita, Vivica, that's amazing. Literally from this show alone, someone will train at Phase 1 Sports for a month and be able to get out of their house and go hang out with other kids, man. Like this goes direct to children, so that's great.
That's pretty cool. And I like it when things happen. So now it's funny because we're talking about organic doesn't work, and now all of a sudden organically.
but you know what, Ed? It's even deeper than that. It's community and trust, and that community and trust is created from which we know historically and psychologically, making promises, keeping them over long periods of time. That's what we're doing. That's what Ed does. That's what Marquetta has done all these years. And you can't buy that. These are people from their heart who are just giving out of their heart. We couldn't go on live with no audience and do that. To me, there's nothing better than that, man. It's an amazing feeling. And you should feel accountable as a content creator. If not, you don't have a heart. You should feel connected and accountable.
What do you think about, I have a question that came in from Diana, and I'm trying to find it now. We were kind of hinting at this, but she said, do you take every piece of content? Do you promote that, or how do you select the?
Gotcha, Diana. I'm in the hair business, Diana. Great job on your hair, by the way. I see your picture there. No, you don't. There's not enough budget in the world unless you're a multi-billion-dollar. You got to be a little strategic about it. So you do got to use your brain, your intuition. You got to look at things and say that's worth amplifying. I'm sure, Ed, I'm interested in your thoughts, Ed. If you create, let's say, 15 different pieces of content, don't you in your heart feel that there's one or two that you want to put money on? I mean, what's your process?
So I would say maybe 20% of what I create, I'm like, oh man, that's really got to go, you know? And sometimes I'll send it out there and put some money behind it and not much will happen. And sometimes people will react, which is the reason why I personally like to, by the way, thank you, Michael Fortin.
Michelle Fortin, thank you. We love you, man. Thank you for that.
Aisha, thank you. You guys are amazing, man. Look at that. This money, amazing. By the way, if you just joined us, we're gonna donate this to the Phase One Foundation to help at-risk kids. I think is what you. I don't know any. I asked Ricky.
At risk people who just simply it ain't there. So we bring them into the community, and it's just an amazing thing. Wow, thanks, Vicky, man. Y'all are really, that's warming my heart for sure.
Oh man, I think this is so great. I keep interrupting ourselves because I'm so thank you for that. I appreciate it. We will put this to good use. All right. So
one last one, Ed. Throw Giovanni up if you don't mind. We really appreciate you, Giovanni. Thank you for that.
What a positive person. Thank you, Giovanni. Thank you, Vicky German. Yeah. We are always keeping your son, I believe Vicky's son is a police officer, right? So keeping him
amazing. Thanks, guys. And thank you, Ed, for that's amazing what you did. Thank you.
So so I like putting out there and seeing what works. So like full transparency, I'll do about a third, maybe half now of the interviews that I do are of the shows that I do are interviews. I'll do some shows where I'm like, dude, this is going to be such a great show, and it's kind of just okay. And it's not the person. Sometimes the conversation like doesn't really go. You know, sometimes you're kind of stepping over each other, or you're not going in the direction you want to go. For example, this show, Ricky and I got like, I don't know if you noticed, but like when we got going, we just got going, and all of a sudden the synergy is really good, the conversation's great, the content's really good. So there is sometimes you just do stuff and it works, and sometimes you do stuff and it doesn't work, and it's just the way it is. But you take what works and then amplify it. What I started to notice was I would put a video out, like I did this video called 4 Steps to More Focus, and all of a sudden, boom, I had 21 comments like that. Wow, I'm like, well, put some money into that, you know. Because you can see it's getting people to respond. Part of the reason they put thing in the comments is because I told them to in the video, but it got some people to respond and then amplify that. But sometimes you'll have like a big dud, and then it's just a big dud. Thank you, Charles. You're the best, dude. I don't know how much that is, by the way. That's like a couple $100 already.
Wow, Dr. Charlie, thank you. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Appreciate that.
By the way, if you just joined us and you're like, what is the deal with all the money? So there's a button in the chat that says there's a $, which just got activated on my YouTube. And I just said, partway through this, I just said, hey, we'll just donate all the money that comes in to the Phase One Foundation. And thank you, Jim Butts. We'll help some kids.
Ed, let me just give a little, just because so many people have been so gracious, let me give a little 1-minute overview on where this money is going. And we really appreciate it, everyone. So Phase One Sports is where my son trains, is where me and my wife train. And Mike Waters, who's the owner of Phase One, is doing amazing things. I mean, half the Raiders train over there, tons of NFL, NBA. I mean, it's in regular, like larger people like myself, 40-year-old dads train there also. But more importantly, Mike has a foundation called Phase One Foundation, where we literally go out into the community here in Las Vegas, and there's kids that don't have a dime. There's nothing there. Their mom works. There's 3 kids. They can't even play a sport. So we step in and literally we'll cash or comp. We'll work things out. We'll give them food. We do all types of amazing things at the Phase One Foundation that just goes direct. And there's no friction. The money goes direct to the kids here in Las Vegas. And there's kids that wouldn't have played a sport, that they're playing a sport now. And it's an amazing thing. So I just want to say thank you, guys. It's going directly into the Las Vegas community here. And that's just an amazing thing, man. We really appreciate that.
It keeps coming in. I put some money in there, by the way. So just so you know, I'm not riding free train over here.
Oh my God. And you know what? You know what, Ed, I'm going to match that too. I'm going to put in 50 also. If Marquetta, you want to throw in, match that for Ed. So it'd be cool. Who knows? Maybe we'll get it to 1,000 by the show. By the time
somebody should tell Mike what's going on over here, because we're like.
Oh, I know. I should. Marquetta should text him.
It's like a couple $250 on. I wish there was a way. I don't know how to by the total.
Yeah, hopefully she'll shoot him a text, let him know we're rapping about him. But
all right, so let's go back to content. Let's go back to content. By the way, if you just joined us, my name's Ed Rush. I'm here with my man, Mr. X, Ricky Breslin. He's not Mr. X anymore. I've got to get rid of that. I can't find that chat comment to get rid of, though. Hold on. It's like, oh, there it is. So we're talking about what's working now, internet marketing stuff. And we're coming up on the hour, dude. So maybe we'll go 5-10 minutes, a little bit longer, and answer
whatever you need.
But let's go back to some online stuff. What else is working that you guys are seeing right now that you love?
What's working, I'll tell you what's not working as well, and you need to be mindful of it. 10 years ago, it actually was enough to just put your flag, which is your message, in the ground and say, this is who I am, this is what I'm creating content about. And just the mere fact that you did that, you were kind of very much ahead of everybody else. I know you remember that, Ed. Like, just doing that was like, wow, that's amazing. These days, what I would recommend to anybody doing that, we'll just call it the information marketing business. There's other names for it, but just people who share a message, who have an audience, who do live events, et cetera, et cetera. What I would recommend is get in your mind that just the making of the content is not enough. And I know that you've probably never heard that before because so many people are just trying to get you to create content. Well, I want to propose today that is officially kindergarten. And that to move on to middle school and to high school and to get your PhD, you've got to lock in on your message, on who you want to speak to, on what you're passionate about now. Today, you've got to get that over with so you can start creating the content so we can move into junior high.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Ed.
No, keep going. Keep going.
What does junior high and high school and these things look like? Here's what it looks like. Once we have our message done and we're creating and we're passionate and you're throwing the videos out, the podcasts, the audios, the PDFs, whatever you can do, then we graduate. And you graduate with that $10, $15, $5 budget. That way you're in the game. Don't sit around and wait for people to teach you how to get in the game. Put money in the system.
Yeah.
Play the game, even if it's by yourself, 15 minutes a day. That way you're in the game. Now you're light years ahead of most people because most people, too scared to create content, will not promote the content. Now we're in high school, college. Now we're moving forward. Now you're going to get into, and I'm going to get a little nerdy here.
Yeah, do it.
Get into UTM codes. We're going to get into attribution. That's when you're going to want to work with people like a Michelle Ford, like go to Upwork, find a nerd, find somebody who can get all your tracking and all your stuff correct because you want to know what amplified content is working. And are you tracking that from click to sale, from click to lead, so we can actually make educated marketing decisions based on the actions you're doing. Now we're in college and we're playing, and master's level, PhD level, we're making a living. We're making 7-8 figures. We're making low sixes. We're making a living. We make our living on the internet, providing value, and that is live events, books, audios, things that you're passionate about that directly get people results, and preferably a large group of people.
Yeah, that's good, man. That's good. So creating content is okay. It's okay to start, just like starting in kindergarten is okay to start.
Yep.
But as you graduate, you're becoming more and more, essentially, you're becoming more of a professional.
Yes. And you're going to learn stuff. And Ed, I don't want to forget this. You're going to learn things during the production process that no consultant on earth will be able to ever teach you because it can't be taught. You have to look back at the content that was created and learn those lessons that are going to be discovered, that can only be discovered through the content you created. That is invaluable proprietary information.
No question. And I'll tell you, everybody's different, the way that some people like to write everything out ahead of time.
Yep.
The best way for me to create content is for me to stand my butt up in front of this whiteboard or in front of this camera and just start teaching. Like, for example, in this conversation that we just had today, I guarantee you, I will at some point in the future, I'll be teaching some content stuff that will have components of this discussion that we're having right now about how you grow and accelerate. Well, that's because we're having a conversation about it. I'm learning, you're learning, we're both growing together. But even the process of content, you start to connect with like who you are. And the truth is, as you're watching this, I don't care who you are. You have a message or a vision or a product or just your hands, your hands that are supposed to change people's lives and hearts and change the world. Well, you're doing people a disservice by not getting that out there. And if you feel like, gosh, I don't know if I have anything to say, you do. If you feel like nobody will want to watch, maybe they won't for a little while, but maybe they will eventually. And you know what? If I went back, dude, I told you this we do a phone call every week on Tuesday afternoon. Marquetta, Ricky, me, and one other guy. It's our little prayer group. And I told them 2 months ago, I said, there was a video on YouTube of me that I did of me in this studio 2 years ago, 3 years ago, that was so bad. I was like, why didn't anyone tell me how bad it was? It was so bad. It was embarrassingly bad. Well, look, sometimes you got to start with embarrassingly bad stuff, like you got to start someplace and eventually you find your voice. Eventually you find your people, your community. Eventually you get some response and reaction to one piece of content. And next thing you know, you're onto something. And that's really how it goes. And then
let me layer on what you said, because I don't want to forget this. I want to give some people some very tactical things they can do in a nice little 2-minute situation. This is exactly how me and Marquetta do it. Now, Ed, you're a talented dude. You can actually get up, freestyle, and talk, and you've got that skill. A lot of people don't have that skill. Some do. The good news is it can be taught. It can be cultivated with confidence and with planning.
And practiced.
You've got to just keep practicing, keep doing. So what me and Marquetta do, and feel free to take notes and rewind this, because to me, after 17 years, this is the easiest way I have found to do it. Set up a free Evernote account. It's an app right here on my iMac here. And it lives on your phone too. And we want to always, as a content creator, be dumping. We never want to hold anything in our mind. Not only does it create stress and anxiety, but you're going to have ideas that you will lose forever that could have changed thousands of people's lives because you didn't whip your phone out and just type that idea in and get it out. God is going to give you things, and you got to be ready. That's number one. When me and Marquetta film, we have never worked off a teleprompter or never have worked off a script. What we do is very simple. It's 2 phases to us. The headline, which is the title of your video. So write that down. You always want to have that locked in. It's like the title of a book. That's like, no matter what happens, I know I'm going to title my YouTube video this or that. Now, this doesn't go for live shows like we're doing right now. Then I'm going to have 2 to 5 bullets on the way the video is going to go in order. So I want everybody to order a book today. This book will change your life. It will help you refine your messaging, and it will take what used to take 5 and 10 minutes and cut it by 50 to 70% and make your content more engaging. It is a book by Steve Stockton called How to Shoot Video That Doesn't Suck. And if there was, I learned one very simple thing from this book. And it's that all of my 10-minute videos can be 5 and all my 5-minute videos can be 2.
Oh boy. Oh man.
And it's that, listen, everything is a story. Everything has a beginning, preferably a beginning, middle, and end, and a hero. But if not, and say it's something simple, there's still a beginning, middle, and an end in a way you have to verbalize and communicate that content. There you go, Ed. Great book.
There's your
book. Everybody should buy that book.
That's a good title for a book too.
That will help you take whatever it is. I see we've got some doctors here, right? Do you know how many pieces of content there are for doctors? I worked with a doctor for 5 straight years in South Carolina who became one of my best friends, still my best friend to this day, one of them. Content was endless. You know how many people want to know the difference in vitamin D?
Yeah.
Is it 2,000 IUs or 1,000? I mean, I could right now create 50 pieces of content for any doctor on here where they could so easily, in their own voice and in their own way, go out there to the world and just project and be who you are and help so many people. You'd be amazed. That's what you do. Read the book, Evernote, brain dump. Yep. And when you go make your video, you're going to work off that working title and have a few bullets on some things you want to hit on. And then it's what Ed said. Practice, talk, be willing to suck before you get great. And then you're going to find your voice through that practice.
It's okay too, because like when I taught the speaker course, the first stage, I say first stage for every speaker or communicator is a stage I call aw shucks. And aw shucks is you're not very good. You're not very polished, but you're very authentic.
Yes.
People know, hey, that's like the real her, man. That's not some fake weird, like you see stage two speakers, you know what they do? They start to sound like super salesy. Yep. Like, you ever seen the speaker who looks like Tony Robbins and like walks around like Tony Robbins and curses like Tony Robbins, but he's not Tony Robbins? And you're like, wait a second.
Yeah, it's weird.
That's weird, right? So part of being a communicator is finding your authenticity, but the beauty of creating content is when you first create content, you are authentic because you have no idea what you're doing. So just get it into Evernote and start to do it. And I will tell you, so I'm going to hit some of you put some stickers in here, and then we're going to mention phase one foundation too. Also, I want to explain to some of you why there's money on this side who may have just joined us. So when creating content, and I'll tell you, I've been doing this since 2006, dude. And I've probably led 150 mastermind meetings where I'm literally teaching for 2 straight days. So you get to figure out how to do impromptu content when you do it that much. So I've got a lot of practice, but I will tell you, this year, when I started doing the show and then I started doing some videos from the studio here, I realized in a show format like we're doing right now, you have the freedom and the bandwidth to riff a little bit like we're doing right now.
Yeah.
On a video, what I just taught for the last minute and a half actually needed to probably be about 30 seconds. Okay. Mm-hmm. Boom. In example. Boom. Video, a clip of me teaching in a mastermind. Then to the point, boom, to the next point. Because people's tolerance for longer form, which is what we're doing right now, longer form content. Mm-hmm. People's tolerance for longer form content is significantly less on a video than it is, for example, like on a live stream like we're doing right now. Everybody's got a different, like when I go to, for real, you do the same thing. Like if you go to YouTube and type in like, I built this this like really beautiful outdoor sofa, how to build an outdoor sofa. If I click on a video and it's an hour long, I'm like, I'm out of here, dude. I'll click on the 5-minute outdoor sofa video because that's what we're trained to do on video. But for a live stream, it's totally different. So create your content based on the way that you're going to be delivering it as well. I want to
layer on that real quick also. You make a great point. A lot of people are trying to fit their message into a box, and that's great because there are boxes, there are parameters, and there are best practices. What I recommend everybody do is once you find your voice, once you know who you are and what you do and what your thing is, diversify your content. I love long form. I love medium form. I love 30-second content. I love images. Fall in love with content in general and just play and have fun. Give yourself the freedom. And the last thing you ever want to do in your life is look at other people and mimic or try to be like them, because that thing that God put in your heart, that thing that's real and innate to you, that's the differentiating factor. And you've got to fall in love with that. And when you do, you'll be amazed. You'll get so creative. You'll do your colors differently and your fonts, but all that comes through confidence in yourself. So do not look outward to get this. That creativity needs to come within yourself.
Yeah, just get started. I mean, look, people go, hey Ed, what's the length? What's the ideal length for a video? And I'm like, 0 if it's boring, and unlimited if it's interesting. Like people,
you're right.
Like my kids and I, and my wife and my kids and I, the last like 3 weeks, we watched the Hobbit movies. Mm-hmm. And those are like 2.5 hours, maybe 3 hours long. 3 movies, right? People are like, man, this generation doesn't have any attention span. Well, I mean, I'm sitting next to my kids for 9 hours of movies, and they don't seem to have an attention span problem. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They may have an attention span problem like at church. And what it tells you is people don't have an attention span problem. People have an interest span problem.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
So 0 is the length of your video if it's not interesting, which is why you should make it interesting. I got to catch up real quick because
let's do it.
Some of you are very, very generous, by the way. Thank you to those of you who donated to this. And I'm going to tell you the background on this because some of you just joined us. But I want to say thank you to Shanika. 1999 is the number, dude. I got to go look up, like it's Psalm 100. I don't know where I can find the number in there someplace. Marquetta, thank you. That's great. Thank you, Robert. You are
Robert. Thank you.
Oh wow, look at that.
Wow, that's
beautiful. Thank you for it's incredible. And Robert just put another $5 on there.
Man,
Esther, your generosity is such a blessing. And so just so you know, for those of you who are like, wait a second, why is everybody giving money to Ed? So Marquetta started this. She put 19.99 on the sticker, which I had just got because my at YouTube just got monetized. Okay, so that and then there was like another one right after it. I'll give probably the second one too, and then
generously
Pet Salon, and then Vivica and Perdita. So what I did was I asked Ricky what his favorite foundation or charity was, and what he said. I'm going to pull this website up real quick. And he said it was Mike Waters, who's the owner of Phase One Sports, and he has a mission to help disadvantaged youth. Okay, so what I said was because we're just trying out this new sticker thing, that all the donations that come into YouTube through this, I would donate directly to Phase One. So Ricky's going to introduce me to Mike, and we're going to now. I got to find this little there.
Yeah, thank you, Ed. Man, that means a lot to us here in Las Vegas because there's a lot of great craziness here, and that money matters, man. And thank you for allowing that.
Oh yeah, and there's kids all across the world need great leadership right now. Anyway, so thank you, Charlie.
Charlie, thank you again, man.
Very nice.
That means a lot to us.
And then, so Aviela said, how do you qualify? You need to have over 1,000 subscribers, and I think it's something like 4,000 watch hours. There's a number that YouTube has, and if you go into your YouTube account and click the monetize button, they will let you know once you hit those numbers. So that's the short version on that. Mm-hmm. Let's see. There's some really incredible comments. In the chat just totally blew up. And what I would love to do, dude, for like maybe 5-7 minutes is just to do some open Q&A.
Sure.
So jump into chat. If you have a question, ask your question. I can't guarantee we're going to get to everybody just for time. What I can tell you is all my interviews that I love, Ricky Breslin, I always ask while you're live if you'll come back. Now, you already know this because your wife has been back. She's been on 3 of my shows because her shows are always still to this day, my most popular show by viewers is the I think it was the second show she and I did together. Well over 1,000 viewers. It was awesome. So I'd like to get you on. I'd like to get you
sure.
on the record to come back. Okay?
Absolutely, I'm a text away.
You can't say no. You can't say no since you're live. All right, so that's how it works around here. And then somebody just said you should do another show. I was trying to look for that comment. Anyway, some really great comments.
Scratched the surface for sure.
What's that?
We just scratched the surface for sure.
We're just scratching the surface. Thank you, Giovanni. It was such an encouraging person. Thank you.
Yeah, she is.
And I'll try to add up the numbers while you're answering some of these questions. But I think we got maybe $300 or $400.
Wow, that's amazing, man. Thank you.
Okay, so you answer this question. I'm going to do some math and add up. Oh, look at this is a good one too. Ricky Michael says Ricky and Ed should create a product, the Authentic Authority. The first to buy it. That's good.
Yeah, it's really the key.
All right. So the question was, any advice on how to convince overly analytical clients that this is a really good question, dude. I have experienced this.
Okay, so we deal
trying to be perfect. It's really, really, really good question. Really.
Yeah. So me and Marquetta for years, we do 1-day events, 2-day events, and 5-day events. Everything from $300 to $5,000. We've thousands of clients, et cetera, et cetera. I don't want to act like I'm bragging or anything. Just that's what we do. So I've got a lot of experience in this, Chris, and thank you for your question. What I have found with this question is people in general, let's go back to kind of like psychographics here a little bit and psychology. People really they have to feel like it's got a weird face on.
I'm trying to add up the numbers. You talk. I'm trying to add up the.
No, it's funny. They have to feel like they came to this conclusion.
Now I lost. Now I got to go back to the beginning.
Okay, Ed, you count. I'm going to do this. Chris, people, and I've seen this 1,000 times, and if you figure it out, Chris, shoot me an email. People in general, which is 99.9% of the time in this case, they have to feel like they came to their conclusion by themselves, and they somehow magically created it and discovered it and all that. If people feel that way, if they feel that they got to that conclusion on their own through their own research and all that, then they're like sold. Chris Gordon, the man trying to convince another person on these issues, is very difficult. The best way that I have found on how to do that is to simply create education around it and preferably make sure it gets in front of them, and then they discover it on their own time so they can come to the conclusions privately. It seems a little long-winded, but that's why the content is so critical. Pastors do it every Sunday.
Yeah.
We have to create content that we love, believe in, et cetera, and then people come across that content, and what did I say in the beginning? They sell themselves. They sell themselves. You can't personally make someone feel or do anything. But Chris, keep creating that content and putting it in front of the right people. Eventually, most people will, if you're good at it, come to your side of things.
Yeah.
What do you have to say about that? I'm interested.
So a couple things. First of all, the more someone pays you, the less that happens, because like if they start paying you a lot, like I've had clients in the $25,000 to $70,000 range, they basically just do what they're at some point. But I will tell you this, Chris, my experience is that the people who struggle with that the most are the people with the highest levels of education. It is the strangest thing, but you give me somebody who's like barely graduated from high school, they're going to implement, they're going to move fast, they're going to vibrantly make it happen. You give me somebody who's got like a doctorate or like 2 master's degrees and like an honorary tenure at some university, they will explain to me 95 different ways as to why this won't work, and they will literally talk themselves out of it 1,800 times.
Ed, that's a great point, and I don't want to miss this point. Some of my, I do a lot of consulting in other industries too, and I'm not going to call them my worst clients. That's not the point, but the least, whatever, have been lawyers. Number one, actually, lawyers have been the most difficult to penetrate and get through and get them to take action. They're so overly critical that they never take action.
That's exactly right. So the other day I was doing a video yesterday, which I was coming out tomorrow, by the way. If you're not on my email list, just go to edrush.com and get on there. I send a weekly email out called the Weekly Flight Briefing. And this week I talk about the principle of attract and repel. Attract and repel is communicating in such a way that you attract the kind of people that you want to attract and you repel the wrong people. And so you were talking about attorneys and their sometimes. And so here's the thing: if you find somebody who's super critical, they're going to be so slow to create content because critics and creators don't exist together. If you're a critic, you can't create, and if you're a creator, it's very difficult to be critical. And so yesterday I was doing this video and I pulled up my Amazon page because my book, very successful, man. I'm #1 business book on Amazon. My book has 8% 1-star reviews. So I was scrolling through the 1-star reviews for who knows what reason. I was creating this video, and there was this woman who just wrote this like really nasty review. And in the review, she said, all I got out of this is I'm going to go write my book, because if this idiot can write a book, anybody can. And then and that was 2 years ago. She wrote. I didn't read it until yesterday because I honestly could care less. But I read it, and then I just replied and I said, I'm just wondering if you finished your book, because I have a theory. And I said, honestly, I'm asking this question honestly. I just have a theory, and I want to know if your theory, it would help disprove or prove my theory. And my theory is, she never wrote the book. You know why she never wrote the book? Because critical people don't create. Okay.
No.
And so a critical spirit or a judgmental spirit will get in the way of your content creation, or you thinking too much will get in the way of it too. Remember we said, like, just create a bunch of stuff, and whatever your market responds to, promote that stuff. Well, that's actually that's a pretty simple way to do it. You don't have to have a focus group. You don't have to have a lot of analytics. You just go out and create it. So
yeah, I agree.
I said it all.
No, I could go on for years on that subject, but I think the most important thing you said, Ed, was you've got to let me just say, you've got to dig into your content. If you're in the middle, if you're vanilla, if everybody loves you, it's not a problem. You're not going out there to create drama, but your opinion and your stance should create some friction, should create a yes or a no. You really don't want to move through this earth on the internet with a bunch of maybes. It's a real problem.
And your taking a stand doesn't need to be political, and it doesn't need to be angry, and it doesn't even necessarily need to be divisive. But look, what I just said, create a bunch of content, see what works, goes against some common teaching about, and that's that is the same thing, attracting or repel. I just said something that might repel somebody who has a doctorate. You know what I'm saying? But you know what? My ideal client with the doctorate is like, you're right, Ed, I do get in my way, help me get out of my own way. So at the same time, I'm repelling somebody who's got a critical spirit. I'm also attracting somebody who's like, I know I need to listen more of that.
And if there were 10 lawyers on here, probably 3 would say, you guys are y'all are very critical. You're very, and that's a great thing. We do want that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And yeah, it's just all about training. Anyway, so, and by the way, as you're watching this, think about this too. I always tell people when you're writing, now we're talking about criticism. And I'll tell you what, let me say this, Ricky, then I'm going to pitch it to you to wrap up, and we'll just wrap up. And I've got the number, by the way. I added up the money. It's higher than I said it was, okay?
Where are we at, Ed? Where are we at?
I'm going to tell you in a second.
Okay, I'll wait.
Let you begin to wrap up, then I'm going to do it.
Thankful to everybody.
By the way, those of you who have donated using the sticker button with the money, sign in chat. The money's going to go to Mike Waters Foundation, Phase 1 Foundation, who I'm going to get introduced to today.
Yes.
So I appreciate that. And thank you for this. You just answered my question as to why I struggle to create my content. I'm very creative, but critical of myself.
Yes.
And by the way, most critical people start with too much self-criticism. Quite often, and just so you know, I'm not saying this is true for you, but you in your own conscience, quite often this starts when we are 2, 3, 4 years old with parents or leaders in our family who have overly critical hearts. And oftentimes those people in our family, they mean well. They want you they want to spur you on to excellence or whatever. But you know, the typical thing is the woman who has the overbearing mom who grows up with that critical spirit as well, which you can just get rid of fairly quickly through creating new things. And I will tell you, one of the fastest ways to get rid of that for yourself is when you start putting your stuff out there and other people start to criticize you. You're like, hey, wait a second. Because I will always tell people, I always know there's like 20 one-star reviews for my book. I know one thing about all 20 people that one-star reviewed my book. They've never written a book. Because if you ever wrote a book, you would never one-star somebody. Now, if you thought it was awful, you might write the author and be like, look, I think you should fix this or whatever. But you would never publicly one-star somebody, because that's not what a creator kind of person does. And so look, there's creators and consumers, there's creators or critic. The fact is, our world, our country, oh my goodness, our country is being overwhelmed right now with a critical spirit.
Yes.
We are in a place right now where
with no solutions, Ed, with no solutions.
With nothing. There's just like, it's all it is how can I become offended by the next thing? Okay. And here's the thing. There is no way. Look, you guys, I think you guys are on your 55th show right now, 55th or 56th show.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, somewhere around there.
Marquetta Breslin Live. This is my show 68. They're about an hour long. Their shows are even longer. So let's say we both created 100 hours each of content, theoretically, which is about right. There's no way I can talk for 100 hours and not offend somebody. There's no way, dude. You can talk for 100 hours and not offend somebody, not to mention the fact that you and I and Marquetta have covered some very difficult topics like race. I mean, dude, you know how hard it is to talk from the heart and share and care without offending somebody somewhere? All right. So listen, it's going to happen, okay? But that's why why we should be living in a culture that believes in the plurality of ideas. And you know what? If we all have this conversation openly, maybe we'll come to a solution, right? But because we're so critical as a culture, and I'm not saying y'all are that. We happen to have a community of people, amazing hearts, right? But the world outside is extremely critical, and because of that, we can't come to solutions because no one's actually talking with each other. They're talking at each other, you know? And so part of the solution to fixing our country is actually having an actual conversation where we can be raw about the fact that this is hard for me. And you know what? I'm sorry, this is hard for you too. And we can like embrace that and then move forward. Now, as a content creator, because this is what we're talking about, you know what you need to do? You need to forget all that stuff. You need to look into your camera or write or whatever it is and pay attention to what I'm about to say. You need to picture one person, okay? I'm talking like one person. Picture the person who is your ideal client, customer, consumer. And when you look into the camera, this is so important. You will not hear me say, hey, you all. hey, you guys, you will hear me say you. And when I say you when I'm speaking to the camera, I'm talking first person singular. I'm talking to you. Individually, I'm speaking to you. And when you communicate, you need to speak to one single person. What that cures you of, a lot of times when people are worried about criticism, you start writing milquetoast, boring stuff to please the masses. You speak to that one person's challenges and their problems, and you will flat out change the world. All right, I'm gonna pitch it to you, dude, for a wrap up, because I just did one, and then I'm gonna tell you how much money we raised.
Let's do it. Ed, do you mind pulling up Marcus for me just above?
Yes, rocks get thrown at you from below, not from above.
Oh yeah, there we are. Marcus, thanks for hanging out with us. So you said rocks get thrown at you from below. I'm going to kind of hammer on this from what Ed just said, and then I'll toss it back over to Ed. So usually not from above. I would actually remove the word. Usually it's like almost never, from above. I've never been criticized from anybody actually doing anything in their life ever in my life. So
they're too busy. People who are busy in the world, there's no, why would I, who cares? You know?
We're just consumed in our process. And that's where you want to be, is consumed in your process. Tet Salon TV, Ed, under that content on YouTube said, you're absolutely right. It started when I was a child.
Yeah.
So this is a very big thing. This is the number one thing. Dan Kennedy says this in his books going back 20 years, immunity to criticism.
Yeah. That started
really is the number one skill on earth for any communicator, any content creator. You have got to have immunity. You just can't. Now, is that easier said than done? Of course. But like Ed said earlier, it's a muscle. You're working it. You're speaking. You're doing it. Before you do it, I promise you one thing. Do 50 episodes of anything. Do 100 hours of anything where you're just speaking to a camera. You will not care. You're just going to be yourself. You're going to learn the lessons, and you're going to keep going and keep getting better and better and better. And Ed, I'll end on this. You've been doing this for many years, and you're great at what you do. Are you still getting better at your current age and in 2020?
Yeah, I'm getting better faster now. I'm doing a lot more content now. I'm getting better faster now than I was 5 years. I mean, just by simply doing it. Plus, I know how to learn better now. So yeah. Now,
that is the key. That is the key. So immunity, yeah, they're saying it right here in the chat, immunity criticism. Once that's shed and you're free emotionally and mentally, you can go create everything you want to create, and you will be so happy, I promise you.
I'm going to tell you my secret. I know that I said, first of all, let me tell you how much we raised. So according to my math, so we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 donations.
Wow.
Okay?
You have and
the total was $535. Look at that, dude. I thought it was like $250 or something like that. So that's what we raised. So that's the check I'm committing to write to Mike's foundation.
Phase Foundation. Ed, let me a little 30-second on that, if you don't mind. That $535 will literally feed people, clothe people. We're talking about at-risk youth here in Las Vegas.
It's not going to the administrative fees or anything. It's going to people
like that. It goes into a bank. It literally pays directly to the people here in Las Vegas. This is what me and Marquetta give to. Mike is doing amazing things. He's an amazing person in this community. And I want to sit here and say, God bless every one of you, whether you gave or not. That means so much to us, and that's going to affect people here locally, and we're very thankful for it. And that $535 spends like $1,000 or $2,000 because it goes direct.
Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool. Thank you for that comment. It's a beautiful, beautiful comment. Thank you. And you were one of the very first people to donate. Thank you, Tet Salon. Just pray God's blessing over you. You had said something about how it started when you were a kid. The solution to that, by the way, is actually a really fast solution. One of the shows I did, and I'm not sure your name. I'll just call you Ted. One of the shows I did about a month ago was called, I believe the title is "How to Hear from God About Your Business." Great episode. Watch the show. I do these live event, this technique at live events. If you're interested in breaking through some of the barriers that some of the beliefs that you were ingrained upon you at childhood, do this little 45-minute exercise that I teach in that little show, and it'll blow your mind how quickly it happens. And I've done this Tet, with thousands of people, some of the people who are on this show, and it'll blow your mind how quickly God will help you get over some of those things. My belief is, in certain cases, it took about 30 seconds to hurt you, and if that's true, then it should take about 30 seconds to unhurt you. The idea that you have to go to counseling for 19 straight years or whatever is completely crazy. So thank you, Robert. And then, I had one more tip on criticism, even though we didn't even plan on going there, but obviously it was important for somebody to hear this. One more tip on criticism. So every time I get something critical that comes in, which happens more times than I'd like to admit because I'm out there a lot, every time I get something critical that comes in, the first thing that I do, or at least try to do, and this works so well, because look, even now, I mean, the book was very successful, but it has a lot of negative reviews, and that hits you. You're like, and the reason it hits you is because that criticism is partnering with your screwed up inner voice that is also saying bad things about you, So the criticism and your inner voice are like, yeah, that's totally true. And now it really hits home. And so usually what I do, Tet, and everyone who wants to hear this piece of advice, is when I get a little criticism, this is what I do. I literally, out loud, I just pray and I bless that person. Literally, I go like this: Father, I just pray your blessing over, Fundita TV ×2 or whatever the screen name is. I just ask that you would just bless them and keep them, make your face shine upon them, be gracious to them, lift up your countenance upon them, and give them peace. Amen. And literally, I picture myself turning them over to God, and I just kind of walk away. Because the truth is, if you pray for God's blessing on that person, exactly what God wants to happen will happen, whether that you let him decide. Okay. Most people, when they get, you don't even know, and now you're in a big argument with somebody online, and your day is wasted because you're typing angrily back into the thing. Forget about it, man. Let it go. Let it go. Thank you, Barry. Yeah, it hurts because you can't. It's true. True. All right. So we're going to wrap it up. We raised $535, dude. There's about a minute left if you want to donate to.
Wow, thanks,
to the cause. This is a lot of fun, by the way. Thank you for the incredible comments. Y'all are amazing. So thank you, Giovanni. Everybody who said hello, and blessings and amen. And we should do this just for the fun of it. I'm gonna end today's show in a quick prayer.
Yes.
I don't do this all but about 1 out of every 20 episodes, but we might as well just do it just for the fun and just to ask God's blessing, because it's a good thing to do. And then we're going to wrap up the show. Okay. So let me get all the branding ready and everything, and let's do it. So Father, thank you for my man, Mr. X, Ricky Breslin, the behind the scenes guy who's in front of the scenes now. Lord, we just pray your blessing on him and his family, on Marquetta and their kids, Lord. Bless their business. Lord, we pray for every single person who watched today, everybody who came online to the live stream, who came and not here now, or the people who are here now who just showed up. Lord, we just pray that you would just bless every single one of them, that the words that I just prayed to that critic person would actually just come home for them. May the Lord bless you and keep you and make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Amen, dude. All right, you coming back?
Absolutely.
All right, that is it. Thank you so much. You are amazing. Ricky and I are going to stick around and chat for just a minute to say goodbye to you. We raised $535.
Thank you, everyone.
Impromptu. We didn't even plan on it. I didn't even know what a sticker was coming into today's show. And thanks, dude. I appreciate you. Ed Talks Live is out.